That one's going to cost me. I have a feeling when I start that with that one, it always gives me a little copyright. Turns out whoever owns Canon Films really doesn't like my Ohrian intro. Yeah, yeah. Battle of the Mounds. Dude, you guys, I didn't realize how much like people in depth people went into some of the stuff in there. Anyways, give me a sec here. Before we get started, because we're talking Conan. We're absolutely talking Conan because that movie slaps. That movie slaps hard. But, Softbone. There's a sale going on right now. I have joined up with a group of other authors called it's called Based Books Con. There's like a convention. It was just a bunch of writers that kind of hang out and that, and they eventually turned it into a convention. And they're having a based book sale. And they're like, yeah, if you want to join in, that's fine. Just help promote other authors and put your thing in here. And for a week, so until the 9th, until September 9th, Softbone on Kindle is 99 cents. I have an email that went out on my Substack, and I put it on like my pinned tweet on Twitter as well. Go check it out. There's like 200 books on this thing, and it's just amazing how many other storytellers are out there making fire. Now, I don't know if all of them are good. That's way too much for me. So what I'm going to suggest is I went through it myself. I went through the list. I'm like, which ones automatically grab me? And I managed to find one, and it's on my reading list now. Mostly because they had like a 90s pre-rendered CG background of the book, which was like, oh, it's just charming as shit, man. I enjoyed it. So we're looking forward to it. It's a, how do they refer to it? Satirical. I got to pull it up because I want to get the name right. I don't want to be wrong about this one. 28 Minutes into the Future. A collection of stories by Chrome Oxide. First off, that's like, again, such a 90s. It's like Zero Cool. Or those hacker names back in the old Angelina Jolie movie, Hackers. So it's irreverent short stories of social satire and commentary. I'm like, dude, that fits with the Softbone aesthetic, absolutely. So that's on my reading list now. But I have finished Clary's one, A Rule Without Men, and I'm pretty sure he has a new one now too. Yeah, it'll be over soon. That'll be over soon, guys. Again, if you like Aaron Clary's stuff, you're actually going to really like this one because like Aaron is really good at, it's like craft dinner. It's comfort food, you know? Like I've read Book of Numbers, Bachelor Pad Economics, Enjoy the Decline, Renaissance Man. I haven't read all of Clary's books, but I've read a lot of them. And the one thing you can say about them is that they are great in that they have the same comfort and digestibility as his podcast does, which is nice. I ignore his charts because I'm not a chart guy. I never liked charts. I always prefer if you can articulate what's going on. I don't need to see some nerd egghead numbers because those mostly lie anyway. So if you haven't gotten Clary's book, A World Without Men, I would suggest giving it a shot. Give it a shot. He's due to retire anyway, and the faster we get him to retire, the sooner he'll go back to just hiking his way off into the sunset. And when I eventually get through 28 Minutes into the Future, I'll let you guys know about that one. If I find it's like the most amazing thing ever, I'll probably tell you guys about it because, dude, there is so few things that I enjoy reading that if I can find one, I will fucking preach it from the mountaintops. God knows I still talk about Theft of Fire, and that book came out last year. And I'm still like, this is the greatest book to come out of 2024. If it wasn't for Softbone, I would have said it had been the greatest book to come out in the last 2 years. But yeah, so Softbone, look, I've seen the numbers. I know for a fact that all the guys that follow me on the Red Pill channel and follow me here have not bought it, and that's fine. You don't have to. Maybe you're not a reader. But like I said, 99 cents Kindle. Give it a shot. It's literally a candy. Give it a shot. Read the first page. If you can't get through the first page, stop reading it. If you get through the first chapter, keep reading. If not, don't worry about it. I am telling you, you will enjoy it. And hey, there's always on the off chance that you enjoy it that much, you're like, fuck, I should get a paperback because I'm telling you, it's great. It's designed to be read as a paperback. Like everything about it. You'll find a different reading experience, which you didn't even know was possible. And if you're like, I don't read books, I can't read books, I'm ADD or whatever, I've written it because I'm that exact same way. I'm like, I want a book that I would want to read because I have the ADHD too. And it turns out most writers are just shit. So, speaking of not being shit, Conan the Barbarian. Oh my god. It was I have it on as the thing here, but I add it as the, hold on a second. I don't think I put it on here as a clip, but I'm going to add it as a clip. We're going to watch the trailer together. Fucking brilliant. Where's my stupid thing? God damn, usually I'm really good at preparing, but today I forgot. Recordings, Conan, trailer. All right, we're good.
Do you want to crush your enemies?
Crush your enemies.
Do you yearn to see them driven before you?
See them driven before you.
Do you miss the days when you could hear the lamentation of the women?
And to hear the lamentation of the women.
Well, I have the story for you.
Come on!
A man.
You.
Born in pain, born in suffering. The last of his clan. His name is Conan, and he only knows revenge.
What the f?
Boom!
A movie with gratuitous nudity for no reason, other than it's awesome. It's the greatest movie of a generation. It's Lord of the Rings if you're not a nerd. It's Harry Potter's, but for heterosexuals. It's high fantasy. It's The God of Steel. It's James Earl Jones. It's Conan. 1982.
Do you want to live forever?
God. Personal story to lead us off, man. When I was working out, like my 20s, I'm working out since I was like a teenager, but in my 20s especially during the Navy time, it was always like I was always dead tired, and it's like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't feel like going to the gyms, but I got to go to the gym. So you would always get pre-workout, which turns out pre-workout is just like corn sugar and caffeine and creatine with some flavoring. But whatever, it worked. And so the one brand I used to get was NO Explode. Do you guys remember? Do they still sell NO Explode? And we even went so far as ECA stacks, ephedrine, caffeine, aspirin, which I'm not going to say I don't recommend, but dude, I remember on ship because of the sleep deprivation, we were using that for a cut and I could feel my heart beating. Like I felt it in the rest of my body. I'm like, this is not, there's no way this is good. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm dying. So I had to stop. But the other thing I would do is put on the temple raid. That scene from Conan the Barbarian where they all paint themselves up and they sneak into the orgy and they just start murdering people because, I mean, there's movies that build tension well. There's movies that like get you riled up, make you like you feel something. And that's the one thing I loved about movies, when they made you feel something. And it wasn't cheated. It's not like Disney where they just play a sad tune because you feel sad. They play a happy tune because you feel happy. They earn it. They fucking earn it, man. And it was like, first off, like the music carried through where it was like a slow build up. But the characters were always a slow build up too. At first, like, you starts off with they're sneaking in. They kind of give you the layout so you know where everything is, so you have an idea. You start off in a cave, and the cave's where they got everybody working down in the mines. You got a bunch of soldiers watching slaves. And then you sneak up to the palace. You got a bunch of side routes and little alcoves and stuff like that. So you can kind of see, okay, so when people are there, you have a sense of the space, which is like pretty good. Setting up a scene. Awesome. They do it in 30 seconds, no dialogue. And that's the one thing that Conan has done that's just, they have not done it to that level since. And they barely did it to that level before. It's a silent movie. If you would look at the dialogue in Conan, it is deceptively quiet. With the exception of Mako's like his narration in the beginning, Conan doesn't speak for the first 22 minutes. And of all the big set pieces, almost nobody speaks. It's all silent. Yet you get everything from the story. So anyways, they have the setup. It's all done. It's all silently. The music plays up. And then they slow down. because then you realize, oh my god, there's like, this is a sex cult. And it was one of my, and then they're like little things in there too, like where Conan is like, I'm the big tough muscular guy, you can't fuck with me. And then he looks up and he sees titties everywhere, and it was just funny because you see that whole like, what? And the fucking girl looks like, Valeria looks at him, she's like, come on man, get your shit together. He's like, don't worry, we're good. And then they have the plan to steal the girl, they have the plan to kill the guards, they have the plan to cause a distraction, like the thing's on fire. And then the three of them perfectly synchronize their attack. And then as soon as that happens, the beat drops. The beat drops. It's your way. It's like a trigger too. It's like, I love when music does this, because music's purpose isn't to tell you what to feel. Music's purpose is to trigger expectations. It's kind of like editing in that way. So when you're hearing the build-up, when you see the build-up, you see the build-up. And it's very hard to tell, like, between, like, very subtlety. Is this like a 10% sneaking in, or is this a 20% sneaking in? So the slow build-up of the music kind of complements that. And then when that beat drops, and then the fucking Anvil of Crom tune starts playing, it's not just you're supposed to feel intense right now. It's because that's when shit starts popping off. And again, it's I love this part too, where the very beginning, because you saw Conan with the wide eye thing, but then the first thing he does, like, yeah, Valeria kills the dude, Subutai kills the dude, Conan walks up, there's some chick just walking past, he grabs her by the neck, he's like, fuck out of the way. He starts hacking people. I don't know why, but it's just that whole, like, chaos, terror, women's are screaming. Conan's like, move. It just makes me laugh every goddamn time. And that's the thing. It's like, you feel it. It's visceral. It's in your bones. It's like, I feel that tension. There's no way you didn't. If you have brothers growing up watching this movie, there's no way in hell you didn't hit him in the face after watching that. Like, fuck you, brother. Bam. Fighting after this. They have the big battle. And then you think, and this is just the visual part of their storytelling too. I'm not even going to get into the whole themes and that stuff. Well, I will, but not yet. And then you think that's it, but they know, no. We're gonna climax this again. So they do the thing, they do the heist, they're taking shit out, killing a bunch of people, stealing the princess, and then they bring the tension down. Okay, everything's done. We got the girl. We're out of here. Bring it back down. Bring it back down. What happens? Thulgrim and Rexor. Thulgrim and Rexor. Sorry, the two big bodybuilder guys in the very beginning. Conan's hated them. They killed his family. Same as Thulsadum. Then they come in. What the fuck? What happened here? And then they look and they see Conan. They're like, you. That you, man. I love that you. Because you got to remember from the context of it, they thought he dead. They thought they killed him. Thulsadum gave him the riddle of steel, taught him the riddle of steel, basically the same as his dad did at the very beginning of the movie. And there's a theme in there about, who's your actual father, the people that raise you or the people that are your biological parents. And his dad was like, yeah, you can trust steel. Steel is honest. Nobody else can be trusted. And Thulsa's like, no, that's not the rule of steel. The rule of steel is flesh is strong. Flesh is stronger than steel. That's the rule of steel. Steel is only as strong as the person that wields it. And that's because, like, all this shit that I've done to you, I've enslaved you, I've murdered your parents, I killed your mom in front of you, that made you hard, that made your flesh strong. That's the riddle of steel. And then they crucify him. And they thought he was dead there. So when he comes back and he's dressed like a ghost, they literally think, oh my god, he's back from the dead to come get me. Which again, the resurrection is a thing on there too, because Valeria does that later when they do kill her on this one. Crom with the $6.99 super chat. Absolutely amazing, sir. The animated series Primal hits like Conan does. I really can't think of anything that comes close. I don't know Primal. I'll have to. I'm going to put this on my to-watch list. And what I'm going to blow your mind here in a bit too, once I'm finished cooing about this. Oh, look at that. And of course here's the part I love about every scene when they transition it. So every scene does multiple things at once, and I love that about it. There's a density to it that's really good for storytelling, and that means like you miss things on your first watch. So like in this one, it's a very easy one. Conan, the Tree of Woe, when they rescue him from there, he's essentially dead. The wizard that he met from earlier is like, I can bring him back from the dead, but I'm telling you right now, the gods are gonna want to fucking take some flesh as a cost. And the chick's like, you know what? I love Conan so much. Let's do it. I'll pay the cost. I don't care. Brings him back to life. That's when they do the temple thing. Then on his way out, Thulsa shoots like a snake, hits her with it. And she's like, okay, yeah, the gods wanted their pound of flesh. They're going to take me. But hey. But she already told him earlier, dude, I don't care if they kill me. I'm coming. I'll fight my way through hell to come back and fight with you. And I made it on it's on the thumbnail. That scene where Conan's like sees her die in his arms and he just kind of looks up. I don't know what it is. It's that angle they show it at where it's just like, for a guy that can't act and barely speaks, dude, did they ever capture like the depth of human emotion with him? It's just a scowl and a look up. There's a resolve to it. There's a vulnerability to it. It's like really peak acting. And I don't think Arnie gets enough credit for that. I'm like, holy shit. As long as he doesn't talk, people weren't thrown off by that accent. And of course, he's like, well, he promised Subutai and Valeria we're going to kidnap the girl back and then revenge. Agreed? And he agrees in his way. He's like, all right, got the girl. I want my revenge now. Sets him up, mount a thing. The second best set piece. Actually, I don't know which one's the best. I would say this one's probably better than the temple set piece. And again, the killing stuff. So here's the part that's going to blow your mind. That's surface level Conan. They filmed it well. They shot it well. They built up tension. They had a release. Every scene flows seamlessly into others. They kind of leapfrog themes. Yeah, the wizard he meets before he goes to the temple, before he gets in the Tree of Woe, ends up being the guy that can bring him back to life. But Valeria has to pay the cost for that. So after they go through the temple, she gets killed, which then drives Conan to revenge, because back when he learned what the rule of steel was, that flesh is stronger than steel, he decides to be clever, and instead of just walking in and trusting his steel to do everything, he trusts in his own flesh. They make traps, they make puzzles, they get through. And then because Valeria promised she'd come back from hell to save him, Rexor almost kills him. She comes back from the dead. She's wearing her Valhalla gear. She's like, hey, get up, you pussy. He's like, oh, fuck. And he gets up and he beats the shit out of him, breaks his dad's sword. Again, leads right back to the beginning where his dad's holding the sword. He's like, dude, this is you can trust. You can trust this. And he realizes his dad was not giving him the answer to the riddle of steel. Thulsa Doom was. So in a way, Thulsa's kind of his father. He taught him the actual lesson. He made it hard. But so he breaks his father's sword as he hacks through it to get through Reznor. That kind of shows you, oh, okay, he gets it. His dad was wrong. This guy was right. Which again leads to the end when he ends up going to the Set's temple. And he's like, hey, dude. And he tells him, he's like, dude, I'm your father. I gave you all of this stuff. And he's like, puts it on. And Conan kind of realizes, like, dude, he's got a point. I wouldn't be the man I am today if not for him. He is kind of my dad. And then he stops. But then he's like, he's Conan. So he's like, looks up. He's like, yeah, but I came here to murder and revenge. So what are you going to do? Hacks him with his dad's sword. Ties the whole thing together. Yeah, he may not have given me the answer to the rule of steel. I appreciate that from you. But you killed my mom, dude. You killed my dad. You killed my people. You gotta go. You've trained me for this. This is the riddle of steel. And he has his own solution for the riddle of steel. And then he burns the temple. It looks just like the scene of when he had his funeral pyre for his woman. Again, his dads are put to rest. Conan is the real man. He comes out. He solves his problem. It's like fucking peak storytelling. And it's just funny because it's such like a gruntish, lowbrow feeling thing. You're like, it's a barbarian. He can't even read, which he can, but he's actually a very smart guy. And then they put all of these heavy ass themes in there and they sneak it by because you don't notice because they're too busy watching somebody get an axe to the neck. Like, holy shit. It's about a guy coming to terms with like being raised by two dads. I just love that shit. And even, again, rule of steel stuff. At the very beginning, when he does this crush your enemies, see them driven before you, fear the lamentation of the women. That's when he is a slave. He's raised as a slave. He's brought up as a slave. He finds out he's really good at gladiator combat. They train him to be smart. That's his answer to the riddle of the steel. What's your riddle of steel? Kill everyone. And they let him free. And he tries that. He's like, yeah, kill everybody, steal everything. Just take what I want. You know that whole thing I talk about when I talk about kids raised without fathers? You either raise them as, the women will either raise them as simps or thugs. You end up getting that. He starts a thug. He's like just thuggish. Gets all that money, gets all the diamonds, gets all the jewels. What does he find out? Successfully stealing all the money is actually harder on him than battle. That stupid scene where he falls into the bowl of porridge and then the king's people kidnap him. And that's the problem. He gets into trouble. He gets kidnapped. So he realizes, yeah, I get it. it turns out like succeeding is actually very hard too. So that crush your enemies, driven before you hear the lamentation of the women. After that, you end up going soft. So he's like, yeah, that's not the route for me. And that's when he latches on to revenge. Right? Again, a very common theme. Grimlocked, $4.99 super chat. I shall contemplate this on the Tree of Woe. By the way, baller name. I've never heard of like a tree named that well. It's just, and this is why I always say like fuck your Lord of the Rings, because the Lord of the Rings, and I'm not shitting on Lord of the Rings, I'm just shitting on it in comparison to Conan, which I think is peak fantasy. Not Lord of the Rings, Conan the Cimmerian. Because like it's always like Morgoth, the series, the Isildur, and it's always like very fancy stuff. What do they call things in Conan? They keep it very simple, very direct, very on the nose. Tree of Woe. Think about this on the Tree of Woe. Woe is me. Yeah, go crucify him on that shit. And it's like, that's symbolism. That's good symbolism. That's sort of themes. And that Tree of Woe is where he kind of figures out his own little rule of steel thing too, right? And that's when he comes back and doubles down on revenge. But it's set up in a clever way where you don't know if Conan is going to have a successful character arc or a tragic character arc. It can go either way. Like we know now, because it's been out for 50 years, but at the time, and even if you kind of knew there, because it's like, it's Arnold and it's an action movie, and of course he's going to survive at the end, but they always give you that, well, he might not. And that's it. So the difference between a good character arc and a bad character arc, and I mean bad as in tragic, not bad as in bad. They're both good. Character will have a want and a need. He knows what he wants, but he doesn't know what he needs. And then the act of getting what he wants teaches him that there's a need that transcends his wants. And getting that want makes him a better person, completes his arc, makes him a full-fledged character. Softbone, perfect example of that. I've written it that way. Tragic character arcs, on the other hand, are different. So they go through the same thing. They have their want and they have their need. And they get their want. And through their want, discover what their need is. But because they have some kind of tragic flaw, something about them that they don't overcome, it causes them to fail. Usually it ends up being the guy dies, but not necessarily. Just a fail to get his need, and then it leaves him worse off than he was or dead, right? In this case, it's the rule of steel thing. Conan gets through, he figures out the rule of steel, he does it his dad's way with the steel. I got a sword now, I can trust the sword, bam, he's good. He knocks off his chains, he's free. You're like, well, that's really early on to get his want. But then you realize, yeah, what his need is. His need is he has to understand the actual riddle of steel and not just follow what his dad told him. He has to carve his own way. And the whole movie kind of gets him there. And that scene after he's brought back from the dead, because in that, it's kind of his own tragic arc. So they actually do kill him. Conan dies. He trusts in the steel. He goes to the temple. He's going to get his revenge. He's just blind for revenge. And that's his fatal flaw, is that he's so blind for revenge that he gets himself into trouble. They crucify him. He dies. Comes back later, 3 days. There's biblical undertones in that, obviously. And then he's sitting there and they're like, yeah, don't get revenge. We're just here for the girl. We'll get revenge after. And Conan's quiet and he's fucking just scowling, sharpening his blade. And you're like, dude, did he learn anything? Did he learn a thing? Is he going to go in there and want to fight Reznor and Thulgrim? Is he going to get caught up in all this? Are they going to miss out on the girl? Is he going to die again? But no, he learned. You don't know for a while. You're like, he thought he was going to do. But yeah, he gets away from the guys. They get the girl and they get out. He doesn't try to get his revenge right away. And so in that way, he overcame his tragic flaw. And now he understands his need. And that's where it kind of culminates at the end where, yeah, he's got to get revenge for his woman. That's constant. Stop killing the people I love or I'm going to murder everybody. But, yeah, and he gets there, and he kind of does his little praying to Grom. He's like, I haven't time for you, Grom. But you like battles. I'm going to give you a good one. So you give me my revenge. And if not, fuck you. And I like it. It's like his way of, like, just his, like, crisis of faith, but his attempt to find it again. And again, they just kind of slip that one in there. But it's like a very deep and profound thing. There's a lot of Christian or Catholic or Muslim guys who have that crisis of faith, walk away from it, prodigal son, they come back. And that was just his, and it's Crom. It's a battle god. It's a god of steel. But this could easily be translated to anybody else's crisis of faith with any of theirs. Fuck, a scientist who got kicked out of his organization because of Me Too is going through the same thing just from a secular nature. I'm jaded as shit. I'll probably have my Crom fight. I don't know what that is. It's probably me shitting on the red pill guys. Who knows? But this is the kind of thing you pick up when you're watching it 10 times, 20 times, 30 times. Star Wars actually has a lot of this too. I don't know if they have it to the same extent. I notice a lot of the Star Wars lore breakdown stuff, like this with Conan, tends to be a little bit contrived. Like they're forcing it a bit. But with the Conan stuff, it's all sincere. And like, well, you know it's sincere? Because, look, Star Wars was George Lucas and a couple of his buddies. Conan the Barbarian, the people on this thing are fucking amazing. And that's the other thing you don't notice about this. I shall contemplate this in the Tree of Woe. Oh, the Tree of Woe also is a wrestling turn move Kevin Sullivan came up with where the opponent is hung upside down in the corner of the ring, one leg hooked around the top turnbuckle. That's cool. But, oh yeah, the people. So first off, Oliver Stone worked with the script. He and the director, John Miller? I want to get his name right. Hold on a second. He's not the most prolific director, but the stuff he did was just fucking baller. There he is. John Milius. So he had Oliver fucking Stone help him. The Goodfellas guy? The cinema guy? Yeah. He's like, yeah, help me with this script. I'm like, yeah, it's great. And so he added a level of gravitas and sophistication to it. And it's like, in my book writing, I aspire to this stuff. I love this, where they take very lowbrow, goofy material and they elevate it to high art. Like with Softbone and with Dogwalker too, I've made the effort that, yeah, it's just a goofy story about a guy getting laid, or it's a nice, fun cyberpunk heist adventure, action adventure serial kind of thing. But I like elevating the themes. It's just something that gives it a longevity. So when you look up and you're like, what the hell is John Milius did? And you're like, holy shit. You'll never guess. So he's been a writer and he's been a director. Do you know what he's known for? Apocalypse fucking Now, man. Writing Apocalypse Now. Clear and Present Danger. You remember that one? Not Michael Crichton. What the fuck's his name? Either way, Sean, it's fucking amazing. Clear and Present Danger. It's part of the Jack. Why can I not remember the goddamn name? What's the character's name? Jack Ryan. That's it. The Jack Ryan stuff. Based on the Tom Clancy books. That's the one. Conan. Red Dawn. And you're like, holy shit. And a lot of these ones, you find out not only did he write them, but he also directed them. So he's like multi-talented person. Multi-talented. And he hasn't done a lot, but everything he did was just fucking awesome. So you put him, who's like known for this shit. Like really awesome cinematic genius. Put him as a script writer, add Oliver Stone to the mix. And this is the kind of shit you get. And who do they put in the cast? Everybody was always laughing because Arnold Schwarzenegger hadn't done shit by then. I think there was like Hercules in New York. They didn't even let him use his own voice. He was like, oh, he can't speak. He's just an idiot. But he fit the part perfectly, like a brutish grunt with a little bit more depth. Yeah, he just had some good directors guide him. And I was like, that's all he needed. Then who do they add to it? Fucking James Earl Jones. Oscar award winning. Just came off of the Darth Vader shit. The man was fucking huge. Max von Sydow. If you had a science fiction movie that you wanted to crush it, you hired Max von Sydow. I've had him on the channel a bunch. He did the 84 Dune. He did Flash Gordon. He was Ming the fucking Merciless. You put him in 3 Days of the Condor. He was the Austrian assassin. Like, I'm just scanning here. What else do they have him in? They put him in the Robin Hood movie. Oh, yeah, that's right. Shutter Island. He's just an amazing... And it's funny because he's like a classically trained Shakespearean actor. Very continental. And then he stars in like goofy sci-fi stuff because he just finds it fun. And he finds it good. He's like Christopher Lee or Vincent Price or Sir Alec Guinness. He's part of that group of people. The only thing he's missing that Christopher Lee had is he was never a special forces assassin for like the Brits in World War II. He was raised in Switzerland, if I'm not mistaken. So he was in the middle of the war, but he wasn't an active participant in it, which I'm not going to hold that against him. Being in the middle of the Axis Allied fight is kind of like, I mean, it's kind of baller on its own. Yeah, I wasn't the special forces guy. I was the one standing in the middle of the field while they're shooting at each other. I'm like, oh, that'll give you a pass. But geez, I'm looking through his things. It's like thousands. Thousands of movies. I can't even scroll through it fast enough. And it's not just him. It's not just him. I mean, Mako's been around since like the 60s. He's next to, who's the guy who plays Sulu? George Takei. George Takei and Mako are probably the two most famous Japanese actors. He's like in the same way that there's James Earl Jones and Sidney Poitier as the black actors that you've known from the 60s onward. Mako and Takei, absolutely. You look at these people, you're like, Jesus Christ, everybody in here is just amazing. Like some of the best writers, the best directors, the best actors, and they put them together in this goofy thing, and it works because they take it seriously. There's only one other movie that did that, by the way. The only other comic book movie that I can think of that had kind of goofy source material but took it seriously and elevated it, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first one that came out in 1990. It's the only other comic book movie, I would argue, that understood the assignment. You mean to tell me they took a bunch of California surfers, turtles thrown in radioactive goo, learned ninjutsu, fighting off a clan in like 1980s New York? That's goofy as shit. You're like, no, you watch it, man. It's about a bunch of guys coming to terms with like brotherhood and fatherhood and loss and death and teamwork. And I was like, holy shit. Like a grown man, you will as a grown man watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with your kids and then fucking cry during the farmhouse scene. And it's the same as Conan, man. You just can't not have a feeling from it. Unless you're just cold and distant. But they don't do this anymore, and this is why I love this channel. Like, this channel doesn't make much money. It's like $10 a month, so it's whatever, but I just love when people were really good at creative work, and they were so good at it, it made you feel something. It resonated with you. It's not goofy commie propaganda bullshit. And they were so good, they could take anything. Yeah, you don't get Schindler's List where you have to write about the Holocaust to make somebody feel something. They're like, nope. I'm going to take a big fucking mongoloid, give him a sword, and make you cry. And they did it too, because it's Oliver Stone and he knows what the fuck he's doing. What themes are good? Oh, I haven't even gotten to the best part too. So the guy who created it, Robert E. Howard. Looked up this guy. I didn't know much about him. First off, it sucks. He only worked on Conan for maybe 4 years. He ended up committing suicide, which really sucks. He's one of the Ellis Island Americans. Yeah, I agree. Thank fuck I didn't have to grow up with things like traveling pants of the Yaya motherhood. I agree. It would have been just ridiculous. But like I looked into, like, why did he make Conan? It was a bunch of short stories, novels, comic books, whatever. And then you look, he has a quote about what he was doing. He just took a bunch of cool people in his life and he amalgamated them together. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, so he knew a bunch of like longshoremen, guys who worked with their hands, prize fighters, bootleggers, shit that you would know from the 20s. He wrote Conan in the 20s, right? And that was during Prohibition, that age, the gangster era. He knew a lot of these fucking people. And some of the toughest, hardest people he knew in his whole life. And he put them all together and he made Conan out of it. And this is why we can't make Conan anymore. I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this to draw a comparison. I have been raised pretty hard. Like, I was raised, my family were farmers. I was raised on a ranch. My parents owned a logging company. I knew murderers. I know, like, hard-working types. My stepdad, 16 hours a day, working up in the bush, running excavators, shit like that. I know a prize fighter, Ed Lattimore. So, like, I'm about... And I'm not nothing like Robert E. Howard. He's on a level, like, well above. But, like, I'm in the game. I'm just bush leagues, and he's pro for that kind of shit. But when I talk to people now, they don't believe me. I've been to many a dinner party with, like, university-educated professor types. And I'm telling some stories, and I usually kind of tone them down. It's like similar to the stories I've told you guys. And they're like, I believe, like, maybe half that story. You're very clearly exaggerating. And then there's people that know me that were at these things. They're like, no, that's pretty much what happened. And so that's when I kind of realized, it's like, dude, I've aged out. my life is harder than like most people know today. And I look at these people the same way that those people look at me. So it's like, and I ain't shit. And that's when I realized, like, we're never going to get somebody who's going to make this again. We can't. That kind of person needs to be literally raised in this kind of environment, raised around these kind of people, to have these kind of unapologetic guys that do shit. And you just like, nobody does that anymore. Which sucks. But I mean, we've had a century of good cinema. It's 100 years. It was a pretty good run. Yeah, legend. Conan, Solomon Kane, Almeric, Red Sonja. Kull the Conqueror, which if I'm not mistaken, was the story of, it's either Conan's ancestor or his dad. Hold on a sec, let's look this one up. Anyways, so Kull was... Now, you guys might have to let me know this one. I could have sworn, though, he's either Conan's ancestor or his dad, Kull the Conqueror. Kevin Sorbo played him in a movie, which, whatever. It wasn't very good. But that kind of lets you know. There's been a bunch of things. Yeah, Red Sonja was another one that came out around the same time. What was the other examples you used here? Solomon Kane. I'm actually not as familiar with that one or Almeric, but I know of them. Alex Patino, $5.56 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. All that Adderall ended up healing creativity out of boys, plus effeminism was another factor. It's just we weren't raised hard. And it's one of those things that I've noticed, like, as I'm doing this channel, like doing proper research into the stuff that I've enjoyed to find out why I enjoy it. A lot of these people just had lives of interest. And that's not just movies. That's everything. Hemingway, you know, his work with the Spanish Civil War, hunting in the savannah, shit like that. You get a lot of the good directors and the good actors and the good writers. They're like, yeah, they were in the Russian part of World War II. They were fighting in the, like, Tolkien was in the trenches in World War I, watching people get mustard gassed. And I'm not saying like, oh, these things are just great, but there is a hardness to them. There is a just, what's the word I'm looking for here? Maturizing effect that these kind of hardships put on people. Some of the guys who did the Dirty Harry stuff, they were like former cops in Baltimore, 20 years on the beat of New York and like the hardest part there. And then they come to Hollywood because they're aging out of being the tip of the spear in some hard ass place. And of course, when they write stuff, they write characters that are, oh my God, this character's so visceral. It's like, and then the guy who's writing is like, this is all I've known. I'm writing about shit that seems fairly pedestrian to me, and you guys are looking at it like it's a superhero. You know what I mean? Where are the hardest people today? I don't know. And sadly, I think I'm the hardest guy today, which it's like, ugh. There's some guys, and that's like a lot of like African Americans get that because they were raised in the ghetto. I think that's the last like hardship raising environment, maybe the Appalachians too, but not a lot of those guys are making it into the creative spaces like they should. I think there's something about it. Nick, my editor, agrees with me too. It's like the best way to be a good storyteller is to live a good life. Because there's all these little things that'll happen to you that you just kind of steal them and you input them into your stories, or just how you understand how the world works is formed by these things, and they make for more compelling stuff. A comfy life in the suburbs as an upper middle class kid is never going to give you a compelling life story to be able to tell. At best, you're going to come up with like The Big Chill. My dirt road is pretty hard. See, Marty's road is harder than all of us. I'm just saying. Yeah, the Serbs. I can see that. The Serbians, the Croatians, the Yugoslavians, the Czech Republicans, the Czechoslovakians. Is there anybody that still calls themselves Czechoslovakian? Like, I know, and this is one thing I've been trying to find. I don't know. What happened to the Rhodesians? Because Rhodesia only turned into Zimbabwe, was it 1982? So there should be people who were raised and lived and fought in the Rhodesian Bush War that are still alive today. I don't know where they are. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're writing about. I'm actually very curious. Fuck, if I could get one on this channel to talk about it, I would love that. This one or the other channel. Rhinestone's harder than Andrew Tate. I believe it. In fairness, I do have to give him credit on that. As much as it pains me to give Andrew Tate credit on anything, he does look like he hasn't had a soft life. Like, he has the kickboxing thing. There's some old videos of him with like Idris Elba talking about kickboxing and that, but apparently his dad was a bit of an abusive guy too, so I kind of relate to that. I remember he used to tell like manosphere stories. Like this one story I remember Tate told, it was the first thing that got me interested in him. He was talking about how he would go to school and he'd get bullied. And his dad just fucking hit him with your lunchbox. He goes, "What?" He goes, "Yeah." And mom's like, "Don't do that." And he hits the kid with the lunchbox, knocks him out, breaks his lunchbox. Dad gets him suspended from school. Dad picks him up, sees the lunchbox all beat up and bloody. He just goes and buys him a new one, and that's it. And I was like, that's actually kind of a story I can relate to. It's one of the few things he's done that I've thought was kind of sincere. It's just too bad that he didn't lean in on that and decided to... I prefer to human traffic and be a fucking clown. I'm like, we all make our choices. We all make our choices. Really? The Rhodesians moved to South Africa. Talk about out of the frying pan into the fire, man. I didn't even think the South Africans were living there. Because there's a guy I follow on YouTube, Spezatura or something like that. I can't remember his name exactly, but he was South African. He ended up moving to China. He's like, fuck this, I'm moving into the communist land where it's safe. I was like, holy shit. Oh, dude. Yeah, hearing about the things going off on there, it's like Iraq all day, every day. But that's my goal. Oh, by the way, what a wonderful name. So now we have Pat Stedman's Polish passport, and now we got Andrew Wilson's pickle jar. God, you gotta love it. I gotta make an ad out of that pickle jar thing. It's not really related to me, but I've run out of material to make ads for, so I gotta steal what I can steal. Somebody, anyways, a fangirl of the channel said she loved my greasy popcorn takes on movies, and it's kind of one of those things that I really want to articulate to people, because I think if you can learn to appreciate this stuff on its own merits, you're going to be surprised at the amount of things that you enjoy. And I hate YouTube movie reviews. I hate the people that movie review. I'm not even joking. It's like a bit of a gimmick on the channel. I hate theater kids. I hate communist babble. I hate the Star Wars nerds. The ones that are like, they're more worried about getting the perfect box set. Like, they're buying merch. They're not watching movies. Or like, I'm using this to describe communist theory. And it's like, you don't care about movies either. Or the ones that just like, I don't like being sincere. I like hate watching movies. I like watching things I hate. I'm the critical drinker. It's like, fuck you, man. And the problem is, when a lot of people start to like movies, they start to become intellectuals about it. Oh yeah, they'll talk about Kurosawa films all day. Which, and don't get me wrong, he's great. But they start treating it like, oh, I'm Ivory Tower. And so they'll see something like Conan, they're like, I don't watch this pleb shit. But if you watch it, like if Conan wore a shirt and wasn't jacked and the movie was the same, they would think about this the same way they think about Kurosawa films. I'm of complete confidence about that. If for no other reason, watch the movie when we're done here. Go watch Conan the Barbarian and just stop. There will be a lot of, like, when scenes change, they have some of the best frame shots I've ever seen in a movie. Like the Tree of Woe, when they first show you that shot of Tree of Woe, that's fucking magic. The scene just before the battle on the mound, on the hero's mound there's Conan just pondering his thoughts. Dusk is happening over the rocks. Fucking beautiful shot. And these things are framed, and that's where he understands like what the assignment was when he's doing like a comic book movie. Because comic books always have panels, and the panels you have to show like the most compelling section of a thing of the story you're trying to tell. And so really, everybody's been trying on movies how to make comic book things. Sometimes they cut it really quickly so it looks like a comic book. They do goofy angles so it makes it look like the comic book, or sometimes they even like split up the screen into quadrants to make it look like a comic book. But like these old school guys realized it's about perfectly framed shots to articulate what a scene is about. And yeah, just the scene of forging Conan's dad's sword. The scene of when he kills his... I think on the main video, which is probably not going to be ready tomorrow. I'm trying, but there's a whole bunch of DMCA shit I have to sort out. I've been like through 3 runs of it all now, so it might not be out until next Wednesday. That's on me. Yeah, I'd say one of the best scenes they did on there was the one where they kill Conan's mom. Because it just shows, like, it shows you Thulsa Doom's I understand the Riddle of Steel thing so well. And you don't even notice. You probably still didn't notice until I'm telling you about it right now. So remember when he's like, yeah, steel's not strong, flesh is strong? And you realize, like, the will to do things, that's the strength. That's the rule of steel, or the Riddle of Steel. So what happens? Village is killed. Conan's there. His mom's holding his hand. She's got a sword out. She's like, anybody comes near me or my son, I'll kill you. So Thorgrim gets the sword, gets Conan's dad's sword, and he's supposed to kill her. He's like, no. Hands the sword off to Thorgrim. He's like, it's a bit too much for me. I can't just murder a chick with her kid in front of her. I'm perfectly happy to be a barbarian. I draw the line here. He doesn't have the Riddle of Steel. Rexor gets it. He looks over. He's like, and she's like, I'll stab you. And he's like, yeah, I can't do it either. So he gives it to Thulsa. And Thulsa kind of looks at them. And you don't notice this at the time, but he's like contemplating the Riddle of Steel. He's like, what is the Riddle of Steel? And then she's like, and then she starts seeing him. He's like, yeah, I can't do this either. And then she kind of lets her guard down a little bit. And then he turns around. And he's like, I think I got it. It's resolve. Resolve is the answer to the Riddle of Steel. Chops her head off. Bam. And I super nod to Alfred Hitchcock on this one. Super nod to it. I quote him all the time. That scene where he's like, don't ever show the monster, because people's imaginations will draw a better monster than you can ever put on yourself. It's like, never show people the stabbing, like when he did what's the one with Norman Bates, Psycho. Yeah, don't show the murder. Don't show the villain. Don't show this. Don't show anything. Let people understand it. He has some great. Here's another great one he has on tension, but I'm just focusing on this one. Like, don't show the audience. Let them put it together themselves. And so when they do that, they don't show like you see Conan hacking through people left, right, and center. But for the mom's death, you don't see it. You hear it. And then there's Conan just holding his mom's hand. And then you see like a flutter of hair off camera. It's got all the bokeh and the blurriness set in. Just drops to the ground. And then he's just holding the hand like this. And then her hand flips out. And he's just sitting there staring at his hand. I was like, dude, that's fucking... tingles, man. Gives you tingles. And then... they weren't happy enough with just that. Conan's basically lost his family, and he's staring at his hand. His entire family is gone. It's like that Akira moment where he holds the bit of Tetsuo in there and it's gone. So they switch the framing now to where you're behind Conan, and he does this thing. And then in this little scene, this piece right here is Thulsa Doom. So it's almost like he's holding Thulsa Doom's hand. And you didn't realize it at the time, but they're showing like, your dad's not your dad anymore. This guy's your dad. And he's holding the hand like he's part of his family. And yeah, sure enough, sends him to the Wheel of Pain to train him. The Wheel of Pain sends him to the Gladiator Pits. The Gladiator Pit sets him free, puts him into the, Temple of Atlantis to get this thing, and then through the Set's Temple, all that stuff. Thulsa Doom is kind of his dad, and you didn't think of it at the time, but they showed you right there when it happens. This is where Thulsa solves his Riddle of Steel. This is where he becomes Conan's dad. Exactly. Total hero's journey shit. But you didn't even think about that. You're just like, oh, that's cool. Fucking they murder his mom. He's going to get his revenge. Fuck this guy. But then the 40th time you're reaching it, you're 30 years old, and you're like, wait a minute. Oh, dude. You became his dad in that one. That's fucking insane. What does dad do? Put him to work. Like I said, it's stuff like that. I just love that when there's movies. You can watch them 100 times, and then the 101st watch, you pick out something, you're like, holy shit. And look, there's this concept called death of the author. And the idea of that is the author of a thing knows what he's trying to do and he puts it in there, but you don't know if, like, there's some things that he subconsciously does and doesn't think about it consciously, but then there's some things he does that he didn't do, but you as the viewer can put your own meaning onto it. The idea of death of an author is that once the author has put out his piece of art, he doesn't get to be the sole authority on what it means anymore. It's an interesting concept, and too many communists have taken it to mean, well, everything's about communism. It's like, fuck you, man. That's not what it's about. And this is what I mean. You can look at something and not see what the author intended, but you see something more profound. I don't know. I've not found an interview with Oliver Stone or Milius where they talk about that scene in particular. So I don't know if that's the case of what they were doing. But the fact that you can see it so clearly put in, and I'm not speculating, it's not fan fiction, it's right there in front of you, makes me think it is on purpose. But if it's not, subconsciously he did. Again, good movies, they have this death of the author stuff. And again, nerds fuck it up so bad. Because nerds hear about death of the author and they think it means they get to invent headcanon. You know that whole how Jar Jar Binks is actually the evil Sith Lord death meme that was going on for a while, where they show technically Jar Jar Binks is absolutely in tune with the Force. And like if he was an evil Sith, he would do this stuff. But they have to invent all of these random things to make his goofiness make sense. It's not the same thing as death of an author. Death in authors, you take what you're given in the product or in the art and just interpret it. You can't bring your own shit in there. You take what you're given. I think good movies will come back, but after this shit wave passes, maybe. Again, we might be dead by the time that happens too. So like as far as we're concerned, this might be the end of an era. It's totally possible. Speaking of which, oh my god, I don't even know if I want to say this, because like I had that chat with Lou Perez about The Naked Gun, and I like Lou. Talking to him, he's a pretty stand-up guy. His comedy's actually pretty good too. I finally got into it. It's on Substack, and I think I have a link to it here too in the post. So go check that one out. But he was talking about, because I was talking about the same thing with him, and he has some friends that were working on the script of the new Naked Gun film, and he's like, "Yeah, I thought it was going to be crap too, but I watched and it was good." And I was like, "Interesting. Is it going to be like a Barbie thing maybe, where it's like deceptively hidden genius?" And somebody posted a clip on Twitter yesterday, and it looked just like a Family Guy episode where Frank Drebin and Pam Anderson's character, I don't know what she plays in that one, talking about like betrayal and love and that, and then he's like, "Did you just plug my TiVo into the internet? I'm gonna lose all my Buffy the Vampire Slayer clips." And then he puts it on and he's like, "Oh, you deleted everything. My love is gone." And I was like, it was just like it wasn't a very funny scene. It's just watching like Liam Neeson play a weesh millennial mad. Oh, that was you? Yeah. Plays like this. It is you. Orc City himself, John Douglas in the chat again. Good to see you, sir. But like it didn't have a setup, a punchline, the humor, any satire. It was just like a guy bitching about his Buffy the Vampire Slayer collection, and it's Liam Neeson. It's fucking Rob Roy. You're gonna take Rob Roy and have him bitch about missing Buffy the Vampire Slayer? I was just like, ugh. Like, I know that's just one scene, and if the rest of the movie is great, having a single weird scene like that might not be a killer, but I'm worried, fellas. Yeah, well, I know, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I have a rule now. I don't watch new movies anymore. And even if I am curious, I give it 6 months. I want all of the fake praise and the fake critical drinker hatred. I want all that shit done and out of the way. I want it to the point where you can take a step back and see how people talk about it. The only exception I've had to that was the Barbie film, and that was pure luck. I'm actually going to do, I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, because I always have I start the videos off with I don't watch new movies anymore, but there's one where I want to watch and talk about Barbie where it's like I break that rule, and it worked out in the end. So we'll have to see. Which, again, the best part about that movie, other than the fact that I enjoyed the movie for multiple reasons, the same as we're talking about here, is that it showed me how full of shit everybody is. Not just the people who love movies, but the people who hate movies. The people that loved Barbie when it first came out it was like fake praise. Like, oh, it's the feminist thing, and this is the best this, and the best this. Like, all that commie bullshit. And I'm like, fuck these people. They didn't even watch the movie. It has nothing to do with any of that. And then you watch the haters, your critical drinker, your Ben Shapiro and that, and they didn't watch the movie either. This is how the Democrats get you. And I'm like, fuck off, Benny. Bring your big-tittied sister in here and shut up. Oh, so you've seen multiple clips and each one being less funny. So I'm worried. I'm worried then. If the trailer was all the funny parts of it, I'm worried that they will not have captured what Naked Gun was supposed to be about. Which, if you know Liam Neeson movies, they were technically, like, you know, the Wayans brothers, their Scary Movie, 300, all their little satirical movies there. They were trying to recreate the Liam Neeson Airplane franchise, and it's all the same kind of movie. They're all satirical movies of very serious melodramas from the 50s, but they were done in such a way that you did not have to know the original Airplane movie to find Airplane hilarious. You didn't have to watch the original, like, Dragnet to find Naked Gun absolutely hilarious. It's like a very interesting niche of satire they have made, where it's satire detached from what it's satirizing. And it was never, they made it for TV originally, but it was never good for TV. They kind of explained this. You do a couple interviews with Liam Neeson, and they're like, this doesn't work as a TV series because when people have TV on, it's because they're washing dishes, they're chatting with the kids, they're making dinner. And there's so many subtle visual gags that most of the time they just gloss right over it. If you're just listening to it in the background, it sounds like a very serious melodrama and nobody gets it. But then when you watch, you're like, oh my God, that setup for that joke was hilarious. So it's one of those things that does better as a movie because it requires your attention, right? Of course, then OJ turns out comedic genius and multiple murderer. If it wasn't for all those OJ murderers, we would have had a Naked Gun 4. And we probably would never have had a scary movie or Repossessed was the old school ones. That was having Liam Neeson making fun of the vampire movies. That one kind of worked too. But you know what I mean? John, you wouldn't regret it. Watch it whole, dude. I was painfully laughing, especially night vision scene and dog, I'm going to say. Yeah. Like I said, Dizigen? I don't know how to pronounce that. I recognize you, the point is. You're probably not wrong. But again, that rule, if I stick to the rule, life gets better for me. Giving it the distance it requires. I've heard a lot of people say good things, and everything I've seen is bad, and I want to believe. Trust me. Yeah, Leslie. I'm getting the names mixed up. Both the Niams. Or both the Nielsen's. Yeah, same. Not going out of my way for it. It's just... And the better part of Distance, too, is that I get all of this fucking commentary about it out of my head. All this rabble. I don't get to see a critical drink or hate video on it and then have that flavor my ability to watch the movie. So yeah, I'd say take your time. And this really sucks too from like a movie perspective, because I'm sitting here talking about enjoying movies on a movie's own terms. These kind of movies aren't coming back. The problem is, yeah, 99% of movies that come out now are absolute trash, right? Absolute floppy trash. But here's the problem. There is good ones. I don't know what the numbers is, just like 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20, whatever. They have to compete with this. So how is that movie that needs to make its box office returns or a great Netflix deal showing that people are going to sign up for it, how do they get seen when the expectation of you coming in is like, fuck this piece of shit? Yeah, it's all slop, but that's the problem. The 1 out of 10 movies that aren't slop or the 1 out of 20 movies that aren't slop, they now have to, their goal isn't just to show you a cool trailer, to give you a hint of what the movie's about. They actively have to convince you, I'm not like the other girls. And that's a tall order. And I'm not making it easier when I say don't watch anything for the first 6 months to a year it comes out. I'm basically telling you everything that's good, let it flop and then break it. You think Critical Drinker liked The Naked Gun? Whatever his opinion is, it's just slop. His whole opinion is slop. And I'm not hating on him because he's more popular than me. Not at all. I'm not hating on him because he's a better writer than me. Because he's not. I've read his books. They're not. And I'm not saying this because I'm jealous of his success, because I aspire to it. See, I don't. The takes of his that I agree with tend to be the ones that are like, really? I think Predator is great. Thanks, Tips. Everybody thinks Predator is great. You're not really selling me on it. Like, I don't see him with a take like, for example, where I talk about Gattaca being the most masculine movie you've ever seen and probably one of the best dramas for men ever, and nobody remembers Gattaca, but you watch, you're like, holy shit, he's right. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I want to see. I want to see him say something that's not a safe opinion, that's not just reflecting what the audience thinks, not just pandering to him. That's what Matt Walsh does. He tells the audience what they want to hear and they love him for it. And, you know, blessed be the guy who gets a lot of money doing this. Good for you. But again, that's like, it's not me trusting you, it's just you being a good cheerleader. But I've heard him have takes on a bunch, and that's the problem, is he has so few of those takes anyway. He talks about his favorite 10 movies. I think there was an old video I watched, his favorite 10 movies. It was like the most, every movie was good. But every movie is everybody's top 10 list of movies. It was very herd consensus. And, you know, kudos to him for not going the theater kid route where it's like Kurosawa and then this German existential film from the 1920s, Metropolis. these are my favorite 10s. Like, no, they're not. The original 310 to Yuma, like, those aren't your favorite either. You're just pretentious. So kudos to him for not going that route. But it's like, yeah, Die Hard, Predator. I'm like, come on, man. Shock me. Tell me Long Kiss Goodnight was probably one of the best noir action films ever. And you know what? Feminist, Mary Sue character, everything that he shits on with Kathleen Kennedy on his 8 of 10 videos is in that movie. But they pulled it off so fucking well. It's a soccer mom, a frumpy soccer mom who ends up losing her memory. Turns out she's a government assassin and just murders 500-pound monsters. Oh, Die Hard was good. Don't get me wrong. Die Hard is really good. But that's the problem. It's like a Rolex. Everybody knows a Rolex is good. It's not impressing me. It's like saying you like Star Wars. Like, come on, man. Everybody likes Star Wars. Everybody thinks Empire Strikes Back is the best one. That's a very safe and easy opinion to have. I want to hear some shit that shows you've actually thought it through. I got a hot take for you. I unironically love the 84 Dune movie, and I think it's better than the new movies. I actually kind of agree with you on that one too, and I get it. I've 84 Dune. I am not lying when I say I've watched it 100 times. I used to watch it every night before bed because that low rumbling sound that happens throughout the entire movie is like, it's better than Xanax for calming you down after a hard day of shit. But it's good in that it takes Dune and it fits it into the hero's journey. It's not a good, accurate representation of the Dune books to film. It's been difficult to do that anyway. But if you watch it on its own terms, I think it does remarkably well. And because it had like the cheap early 80s special effects where everything was hand-drawn, I think it adds a level of style to it. But again, Max von Sydow, Patrick Stewart, Mr. Twin Peaks himself, what's his name? It does the story rather well. It's got an almost like a theatric Shakespearean quality to it. It's a very good movie. Sting. Oh, Last Starfighter is awesome too. Brotherhood of the Wolf. Why do I remember that one? Is Brotherhood of the Wolf an anime? Because it sounds really familiar. Yeah, the David Lynch one. Kyle MacLachlan, thank you. Yeah, I agree. It's absolutely a good one. It's of its time. It's kind of like... yeah, it's not really like anything, but it's his own thing. It's just so funny that everybody who made it hated it. And I was like, dude, you'd be surprised. The only thing I dislike about it is apparently when it came out in the theaters, people were given like a booklet of all the backstory. And I always hate when you need that much exposition to start a story. All right, Dark Knight Dev, $5 super chat. We're not on the heartfelt on this channel, just to warn you now, which is probably why you're safe with the $5. I saw the new Naked Gun, plenty of visual gags. Pamela Anderson is the funny bimbo, and Nielsen does a Hood Leslie Nielsen impersonation. Interesting. Yeah, like I said, I'm not there yet, but I'll probably join you. And 6 months from now, I'll probably tell you how great a movie it is. I really hope I do. I've loved the series. The one thing I did enjoy is how they kept with the tradition of like elderly actors playing the noir cop thing. Because Leslie Nielsen was in like his 50s when that came out, and they had Elvis's ex-wife, what's her face, as the femme fatale, but she was like in her 50s as well. And normally when you do those movies, it's like two young hot people in their 20s. I did enjoy how they stuck with that and put Liam Neeson and Pam Anderson in there, fucking elderly cops. It's a small detail, so like I said, I want to believe. Louis Gossett Jr. and Enemy Mines. Oh, I don't know. Him and Toy Soldiers and Iron Eagles and The Punisher, though. But anyways, you see my point? Everything, there's qualities there's reasons to like things. There's reasons to consider things the best. Consensus, I think, is the cheapest and easiest and safest reason to do that. And that's why I don't like it. And again, for everybody who says, I love Critical Drinkers this and I love Critical Drinkers that, I just implore you, go to his front page. Just select videos, newest first, and you look through it and you realize there's 10 videos making fun of Disney slop, MCU slop, or Kathleen Kennedy specifically, or the latest feminist in whatever. Out of 20 videos, you're going to see about 18 of like, fuck this bitch. And then 2 videos of something where like, oh my God, it's actually something he liked and gives me a reason for it. Otherwise, it's the same slop. And I just find it lazy. And then whatever, it pays the bill, so I can't fault him for that. But but it doesn't mean I have to hand wave it away. It's like, no, your takes are horrible. And I think what really got me too, and like, look, it's very easy to be a critic. It's me sitting up here and giving you my opinions about Call the Conqueror or Conan the Barbarian, and why the 2011 Jason Momoa one is just like what happens when you give millennials Conan the Barbarian who have never lived life. Yeah, you get a strong female lead, you get cool kung fu battles, but nobody talks about the Conan Barbarian remake from 2011. Nobody remembers it. You probably forgot about it until I brought it up. But today, you still remember that fucking Riddle of Steel from 1982. That's like 50 years ago, man. Half a century, and we're still quoting it like it just happened yesterday. So, like, there's a difference. But everything has a reason. So if you can't argue why Conan the Barbarian is ultimately a better and more long-lasting film than Schindler's List, I don't think you have any business being here. And you don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree that you like it better. But you can't disagree that they've fucking elevated what should otherwise be slop. Because there was a lot of films that came out like this. The Barbarian twins had their basically twin Conans. Yeah, they're milking negativity for money. Milking negativity for money. And that's what gets me. It's like, dude, I get it. I'm very cynical. I'm very jaded, so I totally get it. Just come to Canada, notice our diversity is our strength, and you'll be just as jaded, as cynical as me. I live right in the heart of it. But it's just, and a little complaining is fine. Everybody gets that. But when it's all you do, there's 10,000 films out there. You could spend your entire YouTube career talking about the best, the greatest, the good, the unique, the something. Even if it's not the greatest, it's like, dude, they did it. It's different. I'm so glad it's there. Lucky chicken bone. Yeah, and that's the problem, right, John? Well, if the people aren't rewarding the negativity, every YouTuber I watch has said the same thing. When they post positive reviews, they get far lower views. I get it. That's audience capture. And that's something I've been terrified about since I first started this, like 8 years ago. Audience capture. You do things that you want to do. Your audience responds to some things and not to others. Once you start letting your audience drive your content, it drives everybody to shit. That's why you have guys like Owen Wilson and Andrew Wilson and Owen, whatever the fuck his name was. I just talked about him like an hour ago. Owen Benjamin having like their little 15-year-old girl freak out moments on Twitter. It's because of audience capture. The audience likes slop. And if you listen to your audience, you're going to continue to make slop. But they didn't originally come, like Critical Drinker, they didn't originally come to his channel because he just yelled at feminists. They originally came to his channel, I'm assuming, because of his very insightful takes of like good things he enjoyed and whatever. And that built his audience. And then he let them capture him and they drive him to slop. And the problem is that's always like, it's temporary. Same as Jordan Peterson. He's another great example of somebody who fell for audience capture. He was there to do his psychology stuff and appeal to young men who are woefully underappreciated in the mental health sphere, right? He started doing that. Guys started showing the stuff that resonated with him. Then him yelling at woke feminists became his whole thing. And then he became a caricature of himself. And it's something I learned from all of these guys. It's like, yeah, you have to hate your audience a little bit. You cannot let them drive what you do. You can't let that be, well, I can earn 10 more bucks this month if I just shit on Kathleen Kennedy for 7 videos. They respond really well to this. Like, maybe they do. But here's the thing. Do you know what the most impressive way to capture a male audience is? Porn. Do you see me doing porn because I know that'll get the best views? No. Do you see any of these guys? You know what I need to do? I need to make a porn video, capitalize on my Critical Drinker thing or my Razor Fist stuff. Nobody sees this. You know why? Because they've decided that is too far for me. It's the same thing here. How much of pandering to your audience are you comfortable with doing? I would argue that once you get into the outrage slop, you've gone too far. They disagree. Well, what does the audience think? Well, who cares what the audience thinks? The audience is watching porn after they watch you yell at a feminist. It's like, do you really want... I care not for your boos. I've seen what makes you cheer. It's outrage, slop, and porn, sir. And as much as I'm not a Steve Jobs fanboy, I think he had it absolutely right when he said, people don't know what they want until you show them. They don't know what they want until they show them. 100% agree with that. I'm ending it on this, by the way, because we've got Rule Zeros coming up, and we're going to lead to that right afterwards. Yeah, Police Academy ran the combat and spiraled. I mean, I'm not saying everything that turned to shit did it because of audience capture. I'm saying these specific things did. And now you're trapped, because now if you don't do what the audience expects of you, you were a dancing monkey yesterday, why aren't you today? It's like, how about I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to attract the kind of people that are attracted to it, and it's fine. And my Red Pill content, same thing. I could have joined it. It's very tempting to be like, wham, ain't shit, and make that your entire MO. And that had an amazing thing, and a lot of people made millions of dollars from it, which I did not, but that's fine. I still made a decent thing. But then it started dying off. Nobody wants to watch that shit anymore, so they have to like, now what do I do? And now they're yelling at the Jews. All because of audience capture, where it's like, remember what you were here for? It's like, did you forget about that? You fall for the audience, man. Yeah, I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. And I will say this. The one thing I applaud Critical Drinker for is he at least attempted to diversify. And I think that's the way to protect yourself. I used to do risk analysis when I was in corporate life, but a way to protect yourself from audience capture, because the idea of having $1 million in a bank account, it's very tempting. It's easy to fall for that. But if your primary source is YouTube and YouTube starts sending you these signals, you have a good chance of falling for it. But if your primary source is YouTube, but also you have books, really good books on Kindle, really good audiobooks on there. Maybe you do a workshop based on, thing you're an expert at with Substack or Patreon or whatever. Every single individual thing builds. So like, instead of one income source that makes you your $1 million Critical Drinker fund, you have 10 sources that make about a tenth as much. So when audience capture tries to take you in just YouTube or in Kindle, you can say, no, I don't need that. Yeah, but you could double your audience. Yeah, but I'll lose the other 80% that I got here, so no. And then you're kind of insulated against audience capture, which I think is great. And again, it's the same thing that movie makers do. The kind of movie guys that pander to the audience make movies that disappear and nobody cares anymore. People made the Conan the Barbarian remake because everybody loves Conan. Let's give them what they want. It's kung fu. Didn't work. But the guys who made Conan were like, yeah, dude, this reminds me of that oil yard worker that was fighting that bootlegger. And Oliver Stone's like, yeah, I'll help you with your goofy thing. I don't really give a shit. And they made high art because they didn't give a shit about the audience, and the audience didn't know what they wanted until they gave it to them. So yeah. Anyways, that's a long-winded way of saying thanks for showing up, and fuck Critical Drinkers' new content. Well, our collaboration eventually is gone. Enjoy yourselves, boys. We'll see you on Rule Zero. I don't think I'll be able to be there today, but yeah. Also, I forgot if I mentioned at the beginning of this episode. I think I did. I will put a link to it in to the Based book sale in the comments, and I'll make it the pinned comment here for you guys watching it. If you're not a big reader, this might be your time to check it out. There is, obviously mine's in there, and I'm going to suggest you get that. But there's 200 other guys in there with all kinds of topics. There's science fiction, there's fantasy, there's mystery, there's drama, there's historical fiction, supernatural, and there's non-fiction stuff. So just about everything. I would suggest just go through the 200 books, just kind of skim, scan, look for something that might grab your interest. It's 99 cents. Heck, do it for 10. 10 books for the price of one book. If you only like one of them, you're still coming out about the same you were anyway. Maybe you'll find you have a love for reading again. Heck, maybe you'll read John's book. I don't know if he's in on this one or not, but if not, whatever. By the way, John, here, I keep forgetting. I don't know if you've left yet, but I'm throwing you a wrench. Because, throw I keep calling it Orc City. Throw your book in here. Have guys give it a shout. See what all the shit's about. And then, yeah, I'm going to read 28 minutes into the future. I'm going to see the short stories. I'm going to see if I like them. I'm going to let you guys know what I think. And if I can get you guys to stop yelling at Whammon online and just focus on things that matter in your life, that'll be great. And then once you're there and you realize, well, I need something to do with the leisure time I've built up, maybe I'll start reading books again. Something I can do while the kids are napping. Maybe I'll watch movies with my kids again and get them to appreciate good stuff so they're not watching commie slop. Everybody starts enjoying themselves. Everybody stops looking at the things they hate and starts liking the things that they enjoy. And they start appreciating things for what they could be. And who knows? For every 100 of you guys here, maybe one of you will see my thing on Conan, and it'll give you a great idea, and you become the next Oliver Stone. I think that would be fucking awesome. Like, any little bit helps, man. Anyways, have fun, boys.